How Biden and Trump used executive power differently in the United States. The president doesn't always need Congress to make big changes. With just a pen and a signature, a president can reshape major parts of national policy, from immigration and healthcare to trade and environmental action. This power comes from a tool called the executive order. Both Donald Trump and Joe Biden made heavy use of executive orders, but they used them in very different ways. Trump wielded them as weapons of disruption. Biden used them to restore or reform. In this video, we'll break down what executive orders are, how each president approached them, and what their use tells us about the growing power of the presidency in modern American politics. What are executive orders? Executive orders are official directives issued by the President of the United States to federal agencies. They are not laws passed by Congress, but they carry legal weight and must be obeyed, so long as they don't violate existing law or the Constitution. Presidents have issued executive orders since the founding of the country. George Washington used them. Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation as an executive order, and Franklin D. Roosevelt issued more than 3,700 during his presidency, including controversial actions like the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. In today's deeply divided political environment, executive orders have become even more powerful. When Congress is deadlocked, the president can act unilaterally to move forward on key issues. But there's a catch: executive orders can be overturned by the courts or reversed by the next president. How Trump used executive orders. When Donald Trump took office in 2017, he made it clear that he planned to disrupt Washington's political establishment. In his very first week, he signed a flurry of executive orders, signaling that he wouldn't wait for Congress to act. Some of his most significant executive actions included the controversial travel ban on several Muslim-majority countries, redirecting military funds to build the southern border wall, imposing tariffs on China and steel imports to push in America First trade agenda, and scaling back parts of Obamacare, including the individual mandate enforcement. Trump used executive orders to bypass legislative negotiations and move quickly. His approach was often bold, sometimes even legally risky. Many of his orders faced immediate court challenges. Some, like the DACA rollback, were blocked. Others, like his trade tariffs, reshaped global economic relations and sparked long-term trade tensions with China. In many ways, Trump used executive power as a weapon to disrupt, to control, and to shift narratives without compromise. How Biden used executive orders. When Joe Biden entered office in January 2021, the country was in crisis. A deadly pandemic, economic instability, and political division set the stage. Within hours of being sworn in, Biden signed 17 executive actions, a record-breaking first-day move. Many of those orders were aimed at reversing Trump-era policies. He ended the travel ban, rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement, strengthened protections for DACA recipients, and required mask mandates on federal property. But Biden also used executive power to push forward his own priorities. He directed the federal government to create a coordinated COVID-19 response, ordered student loan payment pauses, and attempted broader forgiveness, raised the minimum wage for federal contractors, and signed multiple orders to address racial equity and climate change. While Trump's orders often made headlines for their boldness, Biden's focused on long-term policy goals. Still, some of Biden's executive actions were blocked or modified by the courts, including parts of his student debt forgiveness plan. The key difference is tone and strategy. Trump sought to shake the system. Biden aimed to stabilize it. Comparing Trump and Biden's approaches. So how did their use of executive power truly differ? Donald Trump treated executive orders as tools of confrontation. He used them to bypass opponents, break norms, and move quickly on controversial issues like immigration, trade, and deregulation. His goal was to prove strength, and he often welcomed the legal fights that followed. Joe Biden, by contrast, uses executive orders more as a continuation of traditional government, a way to advance democratic priorities in the face of congressional resistance. His orders often restore, refine, or expand federal programs rather than tear them down. But both presidents relied heavily on executive power. That shows us something deeper about American politics today. Presidents are turning to executive orders more than ever because Congress is more divided and slower to act. What it means for the future, the increased use of executive orders by both Trump and Biden raises important questions about the balance of power in the U.S. government. These orders allow presidents to move fast, but at what cost? They can be reversed just as fast by the next president. They often face lawsuits and court rulings, and they bypass the traditional legislative process, where laws are debated, revised, and voted on by elected representatives. This growing reliance on executive authority might be necessary in a polarized political era, but it also concentrates more power in the hands of a single individual, the president. That makes elections even more high stakes, and it places enormous pressure on the courts to act as a check. So, the big question is, are executive orders a useful tool for action or a dangerous shortcut around democracy? Whether you support Trump's bold disruption or Biden's careful restoration, one thing is clear: executive orders are now one of the most powerful tools a president can use. And in today's divided America, they might become the norm rather than the exception. What do you think? Should presidents have this much power? Should Congress do more to assert its role? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this video is helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos on U.S. politics.